Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to see you. It always is. I hope you're all doing well. Going to be going through some of these matches today over in Toronto. We've only got four. Just the four today. Should be short and sweet. Shouldn't take that much of your time. Before we get into it, like the video. If you'd be so kind, get yourself subscribed to the channel. If you're not already, it would be an honour to welcome you to the squad. Get yourself involved if you want to. And you can support the channel if you want to as well. It's only if you want to. Do not feel obliged. There's a link in the description. Pinned comment. You can hit that thanks under the video. It is entirely up to you. Be sure to get your comments in with your predictions. Anything that I'm going to be going for personally will be in that pinned comment. Feel free to take a look at that if you want. You can take it if you want. You can leave it if you like. Do as you please. It's entirely up to you. But we'll waste no more time with it. First things first. How did we get on today? There's still games going on right now. Garbage from Mensah. Joachim Mensah was like poking a dead horse today. Just, come on, Mensah, come on, mate. Jakob, come on, lad, get up. Get up. Oh, he's not getting up yet. He's fucked. Yeah, that was pathetic from Jakob Mensah today. It's alright. It is what it is. I was most certainly redeemed by ATP and Yuri Lehechka going over the total, so I'll most certainly take that. Even if it's all I get today, I can't complain. I cannot complain. Fabio Madison is currently getting absolutely fucking bullied by Flavio Caboli in this first set, so not much hopes for that one either, if I'm being honest with you, but stranger things have happened. We're still in with a chance. We're down, but we're not out. We'll touch on it more tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But you let me know. Have you won? Have you lost? Have you just come close? And we'll waste no more time with it. We'll get straight into business. Let's get it on. So first off, for us today, we're going to have Zverev coming up against Cerundolo for the fourth time. These have played each other 3 times before, twice this year, once last year, all on the clay. Every single one of them going the way of the Argentine. Yeah, we are more than familiar with this matchup right here. 7-5, 6-3 in Madrid this year. Buenos Aires, we had 6-3 in the first to Zverev, 6-3, 6-2 in the second, and third for Cerundolo, and then Madrid in 2024, 6-3, 6-4. Safe to say, he is more than capable of getting it done with relative ease as well against Zverev. He doesn't seem to struggle against Zverev whatsoever over on the clay. Is it a surface issue? Is it a skill issue? I'm not too sure. I suppose the main talking point today is going to be how will Cerundolo get on against Zverev over on the hard court. You know, it most definitely changes things up quite a bit. But how have they been doing? I feel like both of them have been fairly decent. I think Zverev put in a bit more of a shift on the hard court, so his record will look a little bit better. 37-14 for Zverev, 31-17 for Francisco Cerundolo, 10-4 on the hard court for the Argentine, 13-4 for Zverev. Now, you don't need me to tell you, Zverev is most definitely more suited to the surface. I think the majority of us are probably expecting him to win this one, but I'm surprised he hasn't won one already. I mean, he's quite good on the clay too. You can't say he's not. He's very, very good on the clay. He just can't seem to get past Francisco Cerundolo for some reason. I would like to think Zverev can win this one. He's looked a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe not stale, but he ain't looked really at his best when he's played him on the clay. You know, he's looked quite easy to beat in that regard. The one thing I will say, and I could be wrong, it's just I can't help but notice it, especially from Cerundolo this week, the past 2 games. I don't know whether it's just me or whether my eyes are playing tricks on me. That first service Cerundolo doesn't seem nowhere near as potent as what Zverev's does. It doesn't. Even the game against Echeverri on the second serve, they were just floating in. Somehow Echeverri couldn't do anything with them. That could be, I'm not going to say that the decider, the deal breaker, but it's most definitely going to play a role in this one. Look, if he gets beat by him again, if Cerundolo turns up and beats Zverev again, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? You know, I don't know, I'll let you tell me. What is the price, you may ask? 1.4, call it 1.4 for Zverev at the moment. He's been playing good, decent form, decent momentum. He plays good pretty much everywhere. You know, you'd expect him to go on decent runs pretty much every single tournament. Very, very disappointing. Over in Wimbledon, first round exit, beaten by Rinderknech in 5. That's it. That weren't ideal. That was far from ideal. But then we haven't seen him since. He comes over to Toronto. Very close game against Adam Walton, and then an even closer match against Matteo Arnaldi. Now Cerundolo, I mean, you take from it what you will. He's played Jamie Munar, very good game, very decent game indeed. And then Thomas Etcheverry. I think all of them are more suited to the clay. I think Cerundolo will probably beat them on the clay anyway. And then, you take them off, take them out of the elements. I'm not really surprised that Cerundolo managed to get that one done in the last 2. With them games being very close from Zverev, and obviously what we've seen throughout the past year or 2, I would like to think Cerundolo can keep this close. He might even beat him. He might even beat him again. I mean, I don't see why not. Quite a bit of cash coming in on the Argentine at the moment. Opened up around 3-1 as a dog. It's now currently sitting at 3.2. I still think he's good for your money there. I do. Am I expecting him to win on the hard court? I'm expecting Zverev to give him a well tougher time over on the surface. Like I say, I'm a bit shocked he hasn't beat him in the first place before, but we'll see how he gets on in this. 1.35, 1.4. I don't fancy taking that with Zverev today. I don't. Like I say, Adam Walton's kept it really close. Matteo Arnaldi's kept it even closer. Well, apart from that third set anyway, it kind of fell apart in the third set. I think Cerundolo could keep it close. Take the dog. Maybe look towards an over. I feel like I might go over 22.5 on this one. If I had to take it, I fancy it. I do fancy it. But then again, if Cerundolo comes out and his serve looks weak, I don't think it's going to do him any favours. But what I will say, I feel like the rest of his game this week's been very, very solid. He's looked a hell of a lot better than what he looked over in Croatia. We know how fucking crap he looked over there. I couldn't talk it off Cerundolo today, folks. I really couldn't. History would suggest he has got more than enough to get this one done. Maybe he just knows how to beat Zverev. Maybe he just knows. But like I said at the start, maybe it was just a surface issue. I imagine we will most definitely find out today. I'd be leaning with Zverev to get it done. As far as a bet, I don't think I could take Zverev today at 1.35. Much rather lean towards an over in this one if I had to take it. So we'll move on to the next one, and that is going to be... So next up is going to be Alexei Popyrin and Holger Rune. I'm looking forward to this. They've played each other once before, back in 2023 on the clay in Rome. Holger Rune just about got that one done in 3 sets. He's coming into this one as a rather decent favourite, to say the least. 1.4 is the price that you're having to deal with Holger Rune today, if there's any takers on that. And if I'm being honest, I think he's looked really solid. He's looked really good. We all thought Gio and Pecci Pericard, even though we probably shouldn't have done, we knew he may have posed a bit of a threat. Holger Rune managed to deal with him very, very easily. And then it was even easier against Alexander Muller. You know what I mean? I'm quite happy with what I've seen from Holger Rune so far. Over in Canada, tie-breaking 6-3 against Gio. And then he just smoked Alexander Muller 6-2 and 6-4. Nice. Alexei Popyrin. Alexei Popyrin. This guy ain't been too good all season. He ain't been too good all season, but what have we said all year? Every time he's underperformed, or every time we've come across Alexei Popyrin, we have mentioned how good he was playing. This time last year, more so. I was going to say this very tournament, but they swap, don't they? It was in Canada. I'm pretty sure it was the Montreal one last year. He is the defending champ in this. So to see him still here probably shouldn't come as that much of a surprise. He looked fairly decent in the first round against Nicholas Arsenal, and then pulling off the comeback against Daniel Medvedev. Now, you can say what you want about that one. You know, well, Medvedev may not be the same as what he once was. Dropping that first set to him and then grinding it out, coming back 6-4, 6-4. Decent win. Very, very decent win indeed. This most definitely looks like the Alexei Popyrin that we seen last season. We kind of said it with the Medvedev one, didn't we? I said that forehand, the 40-minute kept it close. I didn't see him just winning it straight up, but forehand is on point. Serves pretty good. I imagine that will do wonders for you against Holger Rune. If Holger Rune turns up, which it is such a roll of the dice, it's quite the roll of the dice to think whether Holger Rune is gonna or not gonna turn up or not. It's very hard to gauge. But just going off what we've seen in the past 2 matches, let's say we get that. Is that going to be enough to get past Alexei Popyrin? I think it is. I think on the day, I think Holger Rune may just have a few more dimensions to his game than Alexei Popyrin. I'm not calling Popyrin one-dimensional by any means, absolutely not. But I feel like he's really got by on that big serve, big forehand, taking it at the net quite a bit as well. It's working for him. It's working. But if all starts to fail against Holger Rune, what else is he going to go to? I'm not too sure. I feel like Holger Rune may just have a couple more shots up the sleeve, a few more tricks in the bag when the time comes. Like I say, 1.4, that's a bit steep. That is a little bit steep. I am fancying Holger Rune to win this one, if I'm being honest with you. 11-5 on the hard court. He's been fairly decent throughout the course of the season. Alexei Popyrin, like I said, 4-7 on the surface. Pretty much only just started to play good now. Or maybe I don't want to speak too soon because he may get absolutely walked by Holger Rune. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Said not too good. The only wins before this, Hadi Habib, and then there was one to Casper Ruud in the Ultimate Tennis Showdown. I think. No, it wasn't, sorry. One to Ben Shelton. Maybe it's all fucked up. Forget that. Hadi Habib, Zizou Bergs, and then the 2 over in Toronto. It's not really enough, is it? It's not really enough for me to back him in this one against Holger Rune. He's looked fairly decent. He had himself a good season, I'll give him that. He's beaten some decent names. Did get to the final over in Indian Wells. Round of 16 in the Australian Open before he ran into Yannick Sinner, managed to take a set there. But it's been far more promising. I think there's a bit more upside to the game of Holger Rune, providing he can turn up and implement it. I feel like I would have to go with Holger Rune today. I most certainly don't think I could trust him at 1.4. I do think he gets the win. This could be another overspot as well. We've seen, I'm not going to say Holger Rune's going to struggle the deeper he gets into the tournament, but I think if Popyrin turns up and he plays strong the way he did against Medvedev, this could easily go over. This could easily be another over. He could easily be good for a set. I'd fancy Holger Rune to grind this one out. Just based on what we've already seen as a whole this season, I do think Popyrin's playing much better in Toronto, a hell of a lot better than what we've seen all year, that's for sure. But I'm still not sure that it's going to be enough to get past Holger Rune. So I'd probably have to side with I'd definitely have to side with Rune in that one, if I was taking it. Not taking it with a lot of conviction. I think it's probably a little bit closer than what those odds are suggesting. I think an over may be a decent shout in that one. Next one's going to be Alex Michelsen and Tien. I'm looking forward to this one. Got ourselves a nice all-American shootout. We quite like these. These can be really good, providing we get the correct personnel to give us a decent match. I think this one could be a very decent match indeed. Played each other 3 times before, 1 in 22 in the UTR Pro Series, so we'll just scrap that one. Call it 1-1 on the main draw. Tien got it done well when even the main draw, next gen's 2024, but it is the only hard court win out of the 2. And then Alex Michelsen got it done over in Houston earlier on in the season on the clay, 6-4, 6-2. Quite convincing indeed. How will he fare against each other on the hard surface today? I think Alex Michelsen's been okay. Nothing special on the hard court, but he's been decent. He's been ticking along. 12-8 on the surface, 24-18 on the season. That's decent. He's got a couple of decent wins here and there. Tien's probably been a little bit more efficient on the surface, 16-7. Not only that, I feel like his game has been a little bit more efficient this week over in Toronto. He's yet to drop a set. Colton Smith, El Chapo, Riley Pelka, easy as you like. Easy as you like. And he looks like he's good for a good few more. He looks like he is good for a few more. Alex Michelsen, Barry Zverev, it is what it is. We expected him to win that. And then the game against Musetti, decent win, very good win. Took the 3 sets, but it's alright. A win is all that matters, and that was a very decent one. He came into that one as a nice little dog. Now he's a favourite in this one. 1.8, quite a bit of cash coming on him as well. He opened up around 1.9. This was split down the middle. Tiny piece has come in on Alex Michelsen so far. I kind of expect that with the favourites as soon as they drop anyway. I think I'll be going with Tien, you know. Just based off what I've seen this week, I think I'll be going with Tien. He just looks a little bit more efficient, a little bit more potent. I think the game has got just a little bit more potency to it than the current one of Alex Michelsen. I say it'll be tough. I imagine it won't be long before the pair of them figure each other out. We could be in for a long one. We could be in for another Tien straight set fucking arse whipping. I couldn't go against them. I say it all the time, don't I? And I don't really go with me gut. Tien is a good dog. He's a great dog to go with. He always is. At a price like that, if you want to play it safe, I think Tien just for this set, you should be quite alright with that one. But I probably wouldn't mind just taking a little punt while he's a dog anyway. Only a small one, but he is still a dog. I wouldn't mind taking a punt on Tien in this one today over in Toronto. Right, we'll wrap this shit up with this last one. We've got Khachanov and Casper Ruud. This could be an absolute banger indeed. 1.7, 1.75 for Khachanov in this one, very slight favourite. Played each other twice before, not since 2022. Both of them have went the way of Casper Ruud, once in the US Open 3-1, and then 2020 in Rome on the clay. Now I'm quite surprised these have not ran into each other since, but we've got it today, and I'm very excited for it. Casper Ruud, I said that at the start of the tournament, didn't I? I've been okay with kinda not going with Casper Ruud after that bit of a snide one he had against Cerundolo. Kinda missed out in hindsight. I had a feeling I would, but it's all good. Straight sets against Verfuelen, straight sets against Nuno Bosch. Happy days. He was quite a decent favourite in them two, and now he's coming in to this one against Khachanov as a dog. That's right. Khachanov's looked decent as well. I mean, Fikovic in straight sets. How much we take from that, I'm not too sure. Did take 3 sets against Nave, but once he managed to figure them out, it was rather smooth sailing for Khachanov, to say the least. Drop the tie break and then come back 6-4, 6-1. Have a bowl of that if you would. I'm automatically just looking at the over. I'm looking at the over in this one. I would love to go with Casper Ruud. I maybe love to go with Casper Ruud, even just for a set. Both times they've played, I know it was years ago, you know, they both took a set off one another, if that means anything to you. I know times most definitely do change quite a bit. A lot can change in the matter of one season, never mind 3. Am I still a little bit hesitant? Still a bit nervous to go with Casper Ruud? I don't know, now he's plus money. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't necessarily say Casper Ruud, you know, he sets the world alight at this part of the season. More often than not, he doesn't anyway. He's had some decent runs over in Canada in the past, but then again, so was Khachanov. Ruud's went 3-1 since the French Open, you know, since he come back. He missed the entire grass campaign. Dom Stricker in Gstaad, the match to Cerundolo in the quarterfinals, and then the 2 over in Toronto. Fairly decent stuff. But I think Khachanov has been in rather fine fettle for quite some time now. He is in really good form, especially as soon as we went onto the grass. He was fantastic. He's had himself a really good season. 26-16, 7-6 on the hard court, could be better. 9-6 on the clay, 10-3 on the grass. Casper Ruud 8-3 on the hard court, 4-1 indoors. Significantly better, significantly more efficient than Khachanov, that record would suggest. But win or lose, this is what I will say, win or lose, it tends to be a reoccurring thing with Karen Khachanov. When was the last time, if you can remember anyway off the top of your head, when was the last time this season you've seen Karen Khachanov get absolutely destroyed by anyone? Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is what I was thinking before, so I had to check. Time's up anyway for those that can't come to an answer. 6-3, 6-2 by Holger Rune was probably the worst beat he had. That was quite some time ago. You're talking mid-April. Ever since that, say even in the losses, he's usually good for a set. He usually keeps it close. He is a favourite in this, so you will be having to take minus the games with him. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really know how I'd feel about taking him just to win straight up anyway. Um, what I have said about Casper Ruud in the past, he tends to struggle against not the pace, but he tends to struggle against the power. And I do feel like Khachanov is more than capable of outpowering Casper Ruud on the hard court. Will he do it? I think it's a big ask. I think it's a really big ask. I think Casper Ruud has been one of the better players on the tour as a whole this season. Karen Khachanov at the moment is most definitely one of the more informed players that we've got, that's for sure. I think it's got all the makings to be an absolute banger, fellas. I really do. Khachanov didn't start off that great. He didn't start off that great on the hard court. We mentioned his record being that close. What was it? 7-6. It's bang average, below average by Khachanov standards anyway. I imagine he would admit that. But like I said, even the games he's lost, he's kept them relatively close. Relatively close. He never really turns up and gets absolutely annihilated. Casper Ruud has pulled off that stinker more recently. Okay, it was on the clay. Maybe I should just forget about that now. He doesn't look anywhere near that bad over in Toronto this season. Well, this week, rather. I think over again. I think the over again. I think Khachanov can turn up, stand behind the serve, he can play well, he can grind a few sets out. Maybe he's a favourite. I just don't know how I agree. I don't think I agree with Khachanov being, do I? Is this because like the layoff? Do we think it's because of the layoff from Casper Ruud playing no grass? It hasn't really mattered, has it? It hasn't seemed to have mattered. I mean, I will say this, Roman Safil and Nuno Boge, it's not much to write home about. Certainly not much to write home about there. I mean, they can give you a bit of trouble on the day, but it has to be on the day. Pretty much every time I'd fancy Casper Ruud to get past Safil and a Nuno Boge. I don't think he's a bad dog. It's a decent dog in this. It really is. I think he's a little bit more versatile than Karen Khachanov. Dare I say he's just a better player. If he is a better player, it's not by much. I think he's been a hell of a lot more efficient this season. That's for sure. 28-9 for Ruud, 26-16 for Khachanov. At those odds, I'd be taking Casper Ruud to take at least a set off Karen Khachanov. He's beat him the last two times. He hasn't dropped a set yet. Khachanov has just dropped one to Nave. I don't think Khachanov played the greatest of opponents so far this week. Then again, Nave's Casper Ruud, but they probably hold a little bit more credibility than what Emilio Nave and Juan Pablo Fijovic does. So I'll be leaning towards Casper Ruud in that one, folks. Maybe an over, but you pick your poison, you pay your money, and you take your choice. And that's going to do us. That's going to do us. I'll be saying good night to you. One more night shift for me. Wish me the best of luck. Can't wait to get these over and done with. I'll be seeing you around. You take care. You take it easy. Take care of yourselves. You take care of one another. It's the most important thing, innit? Like and subscribe before you go. I'd appreciate that very, very much. Let me know what you're going for. Let me know what you're going for. Anything I'm going for is going to be in that pinned comment. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, folks. It's always a pleasure. Best of luck. Enjoy the games today. See you tomorrow.